Hello and welcome to my small part of the universe. My name is Hailstone, and I am here to welcome you to another video. Today, we will be exploring the biology and behavior of the Watcher, a truly mysterious denizen of the European biosphere. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy my ramblings. The behavior and biology of the Watcher. The Watcher is perhaps one of the most curious pieces of fauna of the European biosphere. With no seemingly recognizable means of intaking food, nor apparent aggression, leaves this creature as a stark oddity in this environment, especially its size class nearly arriving that of the hammerhead or even moloch species. The anatomy of the Watcher is comparable to a spiked ball with a large eye and 4 paddles to move around with. The Watcher is a very passive being, only observing and retreating when necessary, as such behavior seems to be dictated by its very formidable defenses to deter but all the most ardent predators. It is currently unknown to how the Watcher feeds, as there is no visible intake for nutrients. No mouth or visible siphon can be seen with mere casual observation. The only real weapon that the Watcher has is its acidic spray that emits into a thick mist that can even eat away at the strongest submarine hulls, before quickly retreating and waiting for an opportunity to return to either wandering around or continue watching. The shell of the Watcher is remarkably tough, even to the strongest munitions that can be used safely. In addition to its toughness, the shell is also covered in around about 30 or so thick spikes, meant to deter anything that might try to prey on it. Also connected to the shell are 4 larger spikes, so to say, that have been modified into paddles, which give the Watcher an amazing burst of speed when it feels threatened. The biggest weakness of the Watcher is also its namesake, for from within the shell gazes a massive camera-type eye with a seemingly locking jaw mechanism to protect it. In addition, there seems to be some amount of low light emanating from the cornea of the Watcher, though for what this bioluminescence is used for in such a low light environment is hard to say. The behavior of the Watcher is perhaps one of its most curious aspects, as it shows no aggression towards humans or other known life forms besides its chitinous shell and its acidic retreat mechanism. When threatened, it will release the substance and attempt to flee with its large eye closed, but it's unclear if it has any true predators. But the existence of these defensive mechanisms would imply the Watcher does have some form of predators, although these may only exist in abyssal creatures, such as the Latcher and the Endworm. Whereas the Latcher would drag it into the abyss and rely on the pressures to crush the creature's shell, the Endworm would merely take it in its jaws and split it in 2. Though both of these are only theoretical and neither have actually been observed. The Watcher's interaction with humans is also quite peculiar. When the Watcher encounters a submarine with human inhabitants, it proceeds to exert a powerful presence on the crew, causing the slow infliction of psychosis. This can be accompanied by both auditory and visual hallucinations, and general disorientation and nausea, though in reality, the Watcher does barely more than simply gaze at the vessel, and whether this is out of genuine curiosity or some form of malicious intent, it's generally advised to scare off said creature for the well-being of the crew. Concerning the gaze of the Watcher, it seems to have an almost opposite effect on the wildlife of Europa, making them stronger, somehow raising their vitality, perhaps stimulating their bodies to be better conditioned for the short term. And this stimulation may have some form of possible predatory inclinations of the Watcher itself, and may not just be a mere bystander. Another theory concerning the Watcher's gaze is that it might be some form of communication on the part of the Watcher, as patients exposed to the aptly named Watcher's gaze are inflicted with both auditory and visual hallucinations. And what could be the cause of this is one Watcher using microwaves or other frequencies to talk with another Watcher. It is believed that Watchers may utilize either microwaves or some other form of frequency as a communication medium. As these mediums hit the temporal lobe of a human, it makes us believe we are hearing something without any sound being collected by the ear. which may be due to Watchers having a similar neural network to humans, or at least a similar temporal type lobe. And if I am to remember correctly, such condition back on Earth was often referred to as a microwave auditory effect, in which during old experiments would aim microwaves at the human temporal lobe and would produce some form of sound despite there not being any. The diet of a Watcher. Observations alone have failed to ascertain the dietary needs and procedures that a Watcher undertakes. Theory 1. Due to the mineral-rich nature of the European biosphere, it is quite possible that the Watcher undergoes some form of chemosynthesis, in which the creature draws in large amounts of minerals through its skin and metabolizes them internally to produce the amounts of energy it needs to survive. Predominantly, it seems iron is among the most abundant elements on Europa, as most creatures within this biosphere seem to use it to carry some component to further their survival, and I'm inclined to believe that this may be oxygen. Mudraptors, crawlers, and infested husk humans can breathe in oxygenated environments, such as colonies of submarines. It is possible that Watchers sustain themselves entirely off of chemosynthesis through iron, though there is a possible darker angle to their chemosynthetic lifestyle. Theory 2. This is an altered interpretation of Theory 1 due to the strange symbiotic nature of the Watcher. It is possible that they have a more predatory inclination on their chemosynthesis, as it seems their gaze stimulates co-predators, and whatever their gaze is fixated on is victim to a variety of debilitating effects. While possible predators are stimulated and are in some way encouraged to attack the intended victim, and perhaps after the co-predators such as mudraptors or crawlers are either done or still in the act of shredding and shearing prey apart, the Watcher simply proceeds to absorb nutrients through some unseen siphon or directly through the skin during this bloodbath. Theory 3. It is also possible that the Watcher's gaze has little to nothing to do with its dietary intake and is entirely for some other purpose. Truly, the Watcher could be little more than a scavenger like a hagfish or some form of bottom-feeding scavenger, lazily floating about looking for a corpse to munch on, or something to gaze on before moving about its day. Unfortunately, much else about the Watcher is a mystery, as it is unknown how they breed, much less interact with another Watcher. It is easy to surmise that they lay some form of egg, much like other fauna of Europa, but such information is only gleaned and not truly confirmed in any way. Thank you for listening to these ramblings. Honestly, I have to say thank you. The lore of the alien ruins in Barotrauma, I didn't even begin to expect it would explode that much, let alone gain some new subscribers. I am truly so thankful to everyone who even merely listened to it. It's truly been elating. Thank you so much. My name is Hailstone, and please continue to watch and enjoy. It truly makes me happy that people enjoy my work.